All right, the music has ended. That means it's time to start this educational party. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's fantastic Marketing Profs webinar. Hey, I'm your boy, George B. Thomas, speaker, trainer, catalyst, and I'll be your moderator for today's fun-filled event. Thanks for being here. We appreciate the time you're spending with us here today. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items to go over, so here we go. If you lose audio or visual, simply exit Zoom and come back to reset your connection. The chat feature is available to you at the bottom of your screen and should only be used for general comments because you can ask your questions or send comments using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen as you think of them. We'll hear from our speakers, and then we'll go into our Q&A session where we'll answer as many of your questions as we can with the time remaining. Now, I'd like to take a minute to thank AdTaxi for sponsoring today's broadcast. AdTaxi's innovative full funnel methodology applies a variety of tools and processes throughout the client lifecycle to drive omni-channel optimizations across channels that maximize performance and deliver superior value for advertisers. Okay, attendees, I'm excited to introduce Yael Zazlatin and Kelsey Skeen. Yael creates scalable omni-channel digital marketing strategies at AdTaxi for businesses of all sizes. During her career, she has founded and sold multiple e-commerce businesses and enjoys uncovering unseen opportunities to help businesses grow. Kelsey has helped national brands and franchise with their digital advertising efforts using custom performance-driven campaigns. Her work has also resulted in record-breaking successes for AdTaxi and its clients. All right, attendees, you're here for solutions to ignite your e-commerce digital presence and profit, not my shenanigans. Are you ladies ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Right. Take it away.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the intro, George. Very excited to be here. Today's agenda, we have a really nice e-commerce webinar with lots of value for everyone. Going to be talking a little bit about e-com trends, a lot about your checkout process and all the things your website should have for you to be able to scale your business. We'll talk about marketing master plan, what you should and shouldn't have, things you should pay bigger emphasis on, scaling with paid media when you're ready for paid ads, how you measure success on all different levels, online and offline, and then we'll leave some room for Q&A. All right, e-commerce trends, Kelsey.
Awesome. Thank you, Yael. And thank you all again for joining us today. I'm hoping this is at least towards the bottom of your to-do list before you head out for that 3, maybe even 4-day weekend. As Yael said, we're super excited about the content we're bringing you today. This is all stuff that we're hearing out in the wild during our audits, conferences, a lot of the same challenges from e-commerce brands. They're coming up, right? A lot of folks want to talk scaling, paid media, all great things, but the foundation isn't set yet. Why is your foundation so important? It's because e-commerce sales are set to hit 5.9 trillion worldwide in 2023, growing to 7.9 trillion. And what does that mean? A lot of big paydays for a lot of brands. We don't want your brand left behind in that fierce competitive arena. We want you guys getting paid too. Other big reason, the massive shift to online purchasing has really established some picky and tough customer expectations, right? People are used to super seamless checkout, takes 15 seconds, got the product, move on with their day. They're being rightfully picky. There's too many options out there. So we want you guys to be ahead of that pack. The competition isn't going to let up, right? E-commerce is going to continue to post growth rates of 10% or higher for the foreseeable future. And because that e-commerce will continue to outperform traditional retail, the total share is going to grow too. This means for you guys, you're really in sink or swim time, right? You make the wrong moves, you've got that big payday coming. You make the wrong moves, you fall behind and get left out. So that's why we want to spend a lot of time today making sure that your foundation is set, making sure that you're ready to talk paid media, ready to talk scaling and growth. You may be thinking to yourself, we already know this, Kelsey, right? But there's so much noise out there. Help us uncover how to do it right. And so that's what we really want to dig into. First piece of that, it's an increasingly noisy customer journey. Like I said, fierce arena that you guys are all spending your time in every day, and brands are finding it increasingly difficult to grab the attention of potential new eyeballs. Sorry about that. We want you guys to be able to adapt at the speed of this market, right? So you're probably thinking, do we do TikTok? Do we bring in influencers? Are old ways still producing volume and efficiency? Has my value prop changed? Am I being agile enough? Those are all things we're going to dive into today about how you can kind of sift through all that noise and making sure that you're getting your brand, your product in front of those new folks. On the flip side of that, though, Yael is going to dig into retention, making sure you're retaining your customers, because that side is just as critical.
Yep. So oftentimes what we see is emphasis on attracting new customer acquisition, which is great. And that's how businesses grow. However, very often we also see brands struggle with that post-purchase relationship they have with their consumer. It is crucial to develop that relationship, maintain it, grow it, and not overlook into it, because it is basically investing in the future of your business. Having that relationship with that small amount of people that will grow into being a bigger amount of people will create brand champions, and oftentimes pays off when there are changes in the algorithm and you no longer can acquire folks at the rate you want. So retaining customer acquisition is important. And then going into talking about customer expectations of your brand. So let's talk about that for just a second. User experience is key. It's everything. It's more important than anything you do. Your checkout process, that user experience that you present via your website will scale, will make or break your business. Making sure your website is functional, intuitive, and easy to navigate, both on desktop and on mobile, is key. Do not assume it is. Have people look into it. Have service go into your past purchasers. Have your team member go through the actual funnel. And then also something very important to keep in mind, and we'll dig into it in a minute here, is every minute your business exists, you're in actuality competing with marketplaces like Amazon, Best Buy, Target, Wayfair, and many, many more. Those marketplaces have created this new type of behavior where we as consumer expect for checkout process to be seamless. So in actuality, if I'm going to go and shop with moms and pops, e-com accounts, e-com brands, my expectation will be for the checkout to be as easy as it is on Amazon, and for the offers to be similar to what we're seeing on Amazon. Hence, what we would like to take you guys is through the actual checkout process and how you should be thinking about it. This is really the meat and potatoes, the heart of your business. So again, because we are talking to many, many brands every day, we oftentimes see folks very much paying emphasis on the homepage. And we're going to claim that your product description pages and what comes after that is the most important thing you should be looking for, you should be investing time into. Customer testimonials, we do see them a lot above the CTA button and on the product description page. It is important to have them on your homepage, on your product description page, and then take them all the way to the checkout process. Trust signals is something that is often overlooked by e-com owners, and new customers really need that. They really need to know that your brand is legitimate, that other folks tried it and had really great success with the service, the product, whatever you're selling. And then also looking at the actual example that we have here, I believe this is Casper. So you can kind of see the customer testimonial. You can see that it's in the 1,000, which is also a bit of a social proof. Below the headline, you will see a little plugin for Affirm. It is an installment company. We'll talk about that in a minute as well, how important it is to have different payment options for your customers. And then below the CTA button, the add to cart, you will find in this example that it says it will ship within 1 to 2 days, and we offer free shipping. Something that we often see is that free shipping, anytime you offer it folks offer it on the checkout page. And so a lot of people don't know that you offer free shipping. That is something we know that exists in the marketplace. So if you want to increase your conversion rate, make sure you include your free shipping ahead of time in your headlines, on your product description pages, and all the way through the checkout process. If you are a Shopify business owner, the cookie cutter checkout process the Shopify created has shipping and taxes are calculated on the next stage. That is something that decreases conversions. So if you can call out the fact that you offer free shipping right from get-go, it will increase your conversion rate. And if you are investing in paid media, that actually pays off double. Going into the cart. So a couple of things. Has to be mobile friendly. It's a must. Otherwise, folks will bounce off, Google your name, and will convert somewhere else. We actually now have research that says that whenever you present that checkout bar that you guys see above, or it could be below, but anytime a new customer knows how many steps they need to take to complete the purchase, it will increase your conversion rate. So it is important to have that. It is even more important to have one-click checkout. And again, if you are on Shopify or WooCommerce, a lot of these big platforms do offer that one-click checkout. You can kind of see that on ShopPay here on the image, PayPal, Amazon Pay, anything you can include that will just involve one-click checkout. In addition, if you don't have that option and you still have people, require people to type in their names, make sure that you have autofill. Just make it easier on them. The less steps they take, the higher the conversion will be. Discount codes are problematic. While it is great to have coupon codes and you do want to offer discounts and coupons, especially for your brand champions, make sure that they are expendable. And you can easily do that on Shopify specifically. There's a click in the themes that allows you that. So whenever you present that coupon code, folks will normally, again, Google your brand name and the word coupon, and then we'll go ahead and convert via affiliate site. So you just lost a full payment sell. Finally, going into the average order value. So upsells and cross sells. We do see upsells and cross sells. That behavior have changed. So let's take them to the next slide. And so more and more businesses do offer it, but they offer it either too early or too late. Very little amount of businesses offer upsells and cross sells on the cart or before the payment checkout. To anyone who doesn't know what upsell and cross sell is when you offer product in the same category that has a higher price ticket to it. And then cross sell is when you offer a complementary product to the whatever you're selling or whatever they have in their cart. Easily done via plugins. It is important. It increases the average order value, and it actually pays off when you run your paid ads. And if you want to take it one step you want to take it one step further, you can use the checkout process to invite people to a subscription model. If your business up for a subscription, and if you have any subscription offering, once they click add to cart, you can have a pop-up and you can invite them to subscribe to a monthly product, a monthly subscription service. It is a great place to do it. It will increase your business longevity and your average order value. So that is all the check marks we would like you to have during checkout. And the secret sauce to all of it is social proof. Again, social proof is very important. Having customer reviews present throughout the checkout, expert testimonials, whether it's a video or a little gadget that flows around. Celebrity endorsements is a great thing to have. So anything that gives your customer a fuzzy feeling that you are a legitimate brand, that will increase your conversion rate. It is important. It is often overlooked that social proof is actually served as that salesperson that you'll see if you go into a retail location. You're going to have someone talking to you, making you feel comfortable with the product. In e-commerce environments, social proof serves that. So the lack of it oftentimes create bounce off rate and low conversion rate. So think about how you're going to increase your social proof on your website. And that is where we are going to talk to you about marketing master plan. You kind of know what are the check marks you should have on your website, what causes really good conversion rate, and you're getting ready for clicks, for traffic. What should you be thinking about it? Kelsey, walk us through it.
Yep. Yeah, Al, you nailed it. I saw a Facebook ad for a Father's Day gift for my husband last week. Purchased it within like 5 seconds, never looked back. So important, right? Critical. And you said it exactly right. Like the foundation is set, right? You've made those small tweaks that are ideally going to get you those big gains. Next, we want to start thinking about outreach. How we want to showcase your brand, your products to potential customers. We see this part get overlooked so often, right? It's almost like folks want to go and the website's ready to go. Let's skip right to the paid media plan. If you don't spend enough time here, your paid media campaigns will not work. That's our giant claim, right? Money will be wasted and algorithms can only do so much. So clearly defining your brand's value proposition is going to be critical to both attract and align with your right target audience, your right persona. It helps you get customers that are more likely to convert. They're more likely to convert quicker, reducing your cost per acquisition time. So we're really kind of thinking about it in this 3-step process here. First, think about your pain points. What is the friction out there in the world that your brand, your products solve? Then translate that into some sort of value-based solution, value-based language. So when someone's reading it, they're making that connection instantly. And then finally, make sure it obviously fits with your beliefs, your motivations as a brand. We want to make sure that your brand's DNA is really aligning with your persona's DNA. That's when we see this work swimmingly. So really, this is kind of where we want you to obsess, right? Obsess over the problem, not the solution, right? So whatever your product or brand solves, we want you sort of living in and thinking about that. Couple ways you can approach it, right? Customer surveys. Do you have tech or partners that can help you reach out and sort of directly talk to your potential customers, talk to your persona? If so, do it. Figure out what kind of trends you're seeing in there. You all have customer reviews coming in, whether it be through a site, a platform, you name it. Go in there and figure out what kind of trends am I seeing amongst my 4 and 5-star reviews, right? What are we seeing in people's everyday lives that we're solving with our product, and how can we really expand upon that within our campaigns, whether it be paid, organic, on your site, email, you name it, right? If you have a sales team, right? So if you have someone that's actually physically talking to your customers, utilize them. They're likely holding on to gold up in their brain that can help you understand how your product is solving something for the folks that they're talking to day in, day out. And then this last bucket is one of my favorites, right? We all want to kind of be the first to think of something, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Do your competitors and do other brands have something figured out that maybe you don't? How can you leverage that? The big guys do it all the time, right? Think of all the AI that's out there. If one AI platform is doing something great, I guarantee the next one is out there thinking about how they can take their own spin on that, right? So really lean into these 4 different ways to uncover what your product is solving and understand how you can then incorporate that into your messaging, into your ad copy. We didn't want to leave you without really understanding how you can dig into your competitors, though. We do this all the time. So Yael's going to walk you through different ways you can kind of key into what they're doing and you're not doing yet.
Yep. So competitor evaluation, key to successful copy, successful email marketing, and then paid ads, and also as a value proposition. First of all, identify who's their competition. Oftentimes we talk to people and they don't know who their competitors are. We get very generic answers. You can think about it as like the first circle, second one, tertiary circle, the niche competitor, the category competitor, and who are you competing in the marketplace? So first of all, understand that. And then you also have a couple tools to allow you dig into what they're doing, what you should be adapting as well. look at their branding, look at their social media, look at their Facebook, their Instagram, their Pinterest, what are they doing? How are they talking about their product? And then go through their website, just walk through their checkout process, look at their pages, see what they're offering, if there's anything from what we mentioned that you should adopt. You also have a couple tools like SpyFu or SimilarWeb that can kind of allow you better understanding of the keywords they're targeting and what are the sources of their traffic, something that you can adapt and learn. So this little exercise can really elevate your business overnight.
Yep, exactly. And then really, once you kind of understand that, you have an idea of your talk track, right? And you really now just have to put it together, package it up. This is where you don't want to try to be everything all at once, or you can end up kind of being nothing, right? So we want to make sure that you're thinking about those value-based solutions in these three primary buckets. So say you're selling D2C wine via an e-commerce site, right? Financial, is your product more affordable than others? Do you have a subscription or membership option? If so, lean on that, right? Make sure it's in your ad copy across these different channels that you're reaching out to your customers on. Convenience, do you have quick delivery? Is it straight to your home? Never have to leave the house, don't have to lug in bottles of wine from the grocery store, right? Really kind of narrow into that in your messaging and make sure that you're hitting on that convenience piece. Service, right? Do you have a customer team who will quickly, effectively solve solutions? Do you have a wine club for people who are enthusiasts to be more community-based? Those are the ways that when we're sort of creating ad copy for our customers, our clients, our partners, we really want to make sure we're narrowing it into those three buckets. So we have a clear, concise ad copy that's going out. And then it really, if you think about it that way, it gets you into that middle section of the slide here. We're meeting the customer needs. We're making sure we're there for them, both in the short term and the long term. But you don't just do it once and kind of move on, right? You have to adjust all that messaging based on where your customers, your personas are in their journey. So, if you're a brand that maybe started with newborn products, right? And that was your big focus. You've created that relationship with your customer. Now you have to understand that they may be shifting into toddler age, right? Or school age. Do you have products and solutions to make sure that you're reaching out to that customer through the lifetime of their journey with your brand? You want to hold on to them and you want to make sure you're kind of reevaluating these value-based solutions as time goes on, just not a one-time exercise.
All right, messaging and strategy. And I think we have a little comment here on being on time. So we're going to start running through this. Lots of good value there. All right. So kind of took you through our way of thinking about e-com, checkout, value proposition, messaging. Before we talk about best practices, let's talk about the things we see in the marketplace that are commonly used by business owners. Being too technical, and that goes to your home pages, your product description pages, your ads, your emails. Don't be too technical. We know you know everything about your product, but your persona all it wants is to have a quick solution to a problem, whatever that might be. Lacking personality. That also has to do with you understanding your value proposition and your actual persona. So, for example, if you are targeting millennials, your tone of voice should come across as a millennial tone voice. And that could be the same for baby boomers. Excessive verbiage, too much information in your product description pages, that actually creates a bounce off. And then inconsistent tone. When I go onto the website, if I flip through the pages, I want to see that consistency of branding, consistency of tone. It is very important so people will feel at home. And then messaging best practices. So know your audience. It is very important. And by this moment, you should be able, if you've done all your homework, you follow all these steps, you should know your audience. Focus on the core benefits. Always start your sentences, your descriptions, your ads, your email with the end in mind. Just, go straight to the point. Telling a story is very, very important. That creates an emotional relationship between you and your leads or existing customer. And then simplicity, that goes a long way. So we talked about excessive verbiage. Simplicity could be also in the fonts you choose or the images. Very simple storytelling sells. So that will be our messaging strategy. And we recommend taking that to everything you do in your e-com, whether it's on page, offline, or your paid media.
Perfect. Awesome. So your foundation is set, your website's ready to go, checkout process is seamless and quick. Your messaging is on point. You understand who you want to talk to, what you want to tell them. But now you need to understand, where are these folks spending time, right? Where we're spending tons of time online, but there's so many different ways and channels and platforms and sites that you can target. So we want to make sure that we're putting the right message in front of the right person and reaching them via that right platform. So research it, right? Understand the characteristics, needs, expectations, decision-making of your customers. There's data out there that if your internal team doesn't have access to it, others do, where you can go in and figure out which channels do they use most, why, and what motivates them to buy from one brand for the other, and really just make sure that that's part of your process when you go to then start shifting into the next part of this, which is getting into paid media, right? Where are these customers living, and where can we reach them? Then you kind of think about, each channel has a strength when it comes to creative vehicles, right? So you want to know which message is really designed for which platform. You want to have synergy across this full stack of channels. Your paid, your email, your organic, like Yael said, they should all have similar tones for that persona, similar imagery and text and things like that. But really understand which channel may be better suited when you're thinking of video versus static, or when you're wanting to generate awareness versus action. You really got to consider that into this next phase. So we're excited to spend the last couple minutes here digging into the paid media side. But before we do, Yael's going to hit on something that becomes more and more important with each passing minute, each passing day. So I'll let you hit that before we dive into this last little bit here.
Yep. So everything we talked about thus far, it kind of ties into like the customer data and privacy point. Privacy laws are changing. We've seen a lot of algorithmic changes, and especially in the last 2 years across different platforms. So we're going to emphasize again the need to have that first party data, and also to have a partner that has the ability to customize your first party data. You really want to be growing that part of your business. It is the future of scale. So anything and everything on the paid side of thing will be moving onward on the usage of first party data and the intelligence we can deliver from it.
Yep, absolutely. And data collection doesn't have to be boring, right? You don't have to just collect an email after someone decides that they want to buy from you, right? So it doesn't have to be stuffy. You can incentivize it. You can make it fun, engage them in thoughtful ways. We have tons of campaigns that absolutely rock it at just generating emails, right? So if that's not part of your strategy, think if it should be, because once they're part of your email chain, you're now hitting them in another arena, maybe for a more cost-effective way, right? Ways to make it fun: giveaways, contests, quizzes, surveys. These are all ways that we can really incentivize and encourage someone to provide that information and grow your first party list much larger than it is today, before they even have to really invest any dollars, right? So we want to encourage that as you're kind of thinking about how you're going to prepare for that first party data becoming super critical.
Yep. And then once you have data, you have a little email list, or maybe you have a really big email list, just a couple ideas that you should be using on your email strategy. And again, we on the paid side of things always see as email as a direct support to paid. And so they are interconnected. When we have really great paid campaigns, our email actually growing and converting more. So it is important to have them both performing well. abandoned cart follow-up. Key to have that, because most of your clients will not convert right off get-go. Promotional offers, Memorial Day sales, holiday sales, anything that's seasonal that can kind of grab someone's attention. Behavioral segmentation, this is where the pros really come in and harvest revenue. That could be differentiating between people who bought just once versus people who bought a couple of times, differentiating between customers that have higher average order value or higher lifetime value. That could be going after people that have not purchased with you for a couple months, et cetera, et cetera. Upsells and cross sells, especially in that 24 to 48 hour window after they committed a purchase. There's something psychological in there. Research shows that if you do present that post-purchase upsell and cross sell, chances are that your leads will convert. Loyalty reward program is a really good clickbait. Welcome messaging for anyone who just visited the website and didn't convert, but in your flow. And then absolutely email your clients whenever they have received your product, or if it's on its route. Use that email for review collection. Use that email for having people recommend your product and services. There's a lot of cool ways you can develop your email strategies, Ian.
Awesome. And I think the greatest part is as Yael and I were preparing this, we're just now getting to scaling with paid media, right? I know. And I'm sure there's a number of brands that tried to skip right to the step, spent money, wasted money, said paid media doesn't work, threw their hands up, went back to the drawing board. So hopefully today we gave you some ideas of why it may have fallen through, right? How you can amp it up. And then get ready to this part where we want you guys to see the products added to the carts, the transactions coming through. Really, we want you guys to start thinking about how you approach each of these different paid media channels, whether it be on the paid search side, whether it be social and all of the different arenas you could tackle there, from Meta to LinkedIn to TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, to also programmatic, right? Those that open web targeting and bidding. We want you thinking about all of it, but what's probably most important is to think about where your brand is in your process before you start tying in KPIs and budgets and things like that. Yeah, this is your sweet spot. You have experience in all three.
My favorite slide in the deck. Yeah. So, and this is where a lot of wasted span can be saved. So think about your business. Are you a startup business? Are you an emerging business? Have you been around for a couple of years? Or not only that have you been around a couple of years, but you're right there in that mid-market / enterprise phase. So if you're just starting your business, think about brand awareness. And really your goal here is to make sure that people hear your name. It's not going to cost you too much to spread the word. So you will be bidding on brand awareness and paid campaigns, and a little bit of retargeting. Really recommend having that email go and retarget folks. Emerging brands. Now you're getting into that point where, okay, you have a really good flow, people coming to your website. You're ready to really invest in your paid media. Things that you should be thinking of is return on ad spend, how your campaigns are doing, what's your add to cart activity looks like, your conversion rate, your bounce up, and are you growing your first party data as you should? Mature businesses, that's where multi-channel approach comes in. So you're kind of getting there. You're ready to be on big screens in people's houses. You should be thinking about connected TV / OTT, audio, maybe lots of programmatic outreach, and having as many touch points as possible throughout many platforms with your persona, making sure that you're going after new people, but also making sure that you're staying top of mind with your existing folks, the first party. And then common challenges that we often see, have to talk about that. Wasted spend. So wasted spend stems from not being able to understand your persona, your audience, hence Within campaigns, we are seeing too much dedication to one specific group instead of knowing that you have 1, 2, 3 persona and then a blanket marketing. And those are the folks that I want to go after, hand spreading around your budget towards potential customers. Yep. Platform optimization and wasted spend, really understanding, have your partner, if you have someone else running media for you, understand what is a learning phase and what's the best way to avoid it. And then overspend in one platform. My favorite subject of all, having just one platform, especially if you're just on social, just on Google or Bing or both, diversification is key here. Overspend in one platform is not healthy. We've seen it a lot with a lot of e-commerce advertisers post iOS. Too much money went into Meta, and so once that algorithmic change went through, we've seen people just freak out. What do I do? Return on ad spend is not there, so diversification is key there.
Perfect. And on this slide, I'm gonna hit them pretty quick because we want to make sure we close out. But we already talked about it, creating that engaging content, developing those personas, and making sure the message that they're seeing aligns with their motivations, their desires, right? Making it clear, compelling, doing a lot of A/B testing. We spent a lot of time earlier on just talking about those pain points and how to create that content. And then that second bucket there, generating sales. You may think that you got your checkout cart ready to go, it's all good, but make sure you're looking at it again frequently, right? Things change, things evolve. So it's not a one-time thing where you go in and check your website's UX, check out the checkout process. It needs to be a consistent practice to make sure that it's converting, especially as you start pumping paid media into it. Things might change, right? So you want to go in and making sure that you're giving that the time it deserves on that consistent basis.
Right. And then reaching your target audience. So the solution to it is, again, persona, A/B testing, clear messaging, and value proposition. And then algorithmic changes. They're going to continue happening. These platforms will continue changing their algorithm. Your job is to stay aware, adjust your targeting, and know that whatever change is about to happen, you will survive it if you follow these steps that we just mentioned throughout this webinar.
Yep.
And then measuring success. We'll talk about it, I think, in just a second, but when you do reporting, make sure that you are not married to the return on ad spend that each platform will provide you. Do look at blended ROAS. So what does blended ROAS mean? Just look at your entire sphere of marketing. How much money do you spend every month on marketing, and what is your revenue? And kind of understand the trend of your blended ROAS to see if things are going in the right direction. And then if they're not, that's when you want to go in and start really digging into the platform. And then attribution. There isn't a magical answer to attribution. It is a problem because every platform is going to have a different attribution. The one thing that we've noticed with a lot of e-com advertisers that we work with is anytime we have someone that is too attached to the last touch attribution, aka Google Analytics, Shopify, and not seeing the power of view-through, the power of brand awareness, as well as knowing that some of the things that you serve online might convert offline in your brick and mortar or on a marketplace. That's where things start really creating a bit of a problematic approach and some wasted spend, going back to question number 1. And then, so what is the right media mix for you? Start a business, brand awareness. You gotta make sure you have your name out there. Profit-driven retargeting means that you don't want to spend too much on retargeting because you will be creating a bottleneck. So invest most of your budget in brand awareness. Emerging businesses, if you are in that mid-market, invest in email marketing. It is important. That will help out your ads more than you know. Even though email marketing will claim the attribution for it, know that it works in tandem with it. Investing in SEM, Google and Bing, social, on whatever platforms make sense for your persona, be there. And now is a really good time to start thinking about programmatic spaces. So banner ads, audio ads, some connected TV, but not too much because you are an emerging business. And then if you are in that mature stage, you definitely should have SEM, social, and programmatic. Audio ads, connected TV is a really good space for you. Pre-roll video, having diversification of your media, and just A/B testing to really understand what drives what. That will be the right media mix for you.
Yep. That kind of takes us right into A/B testing, right? I think that the headline here is avoid complacency, whether it be your team, whether it's your partner or your vendor. We know that pulling levers is scary, but if you do it the right way, it can pay off in the long run like crazy. We've got about 5 minutes left, Yael, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip off to these last couple slides here, and we'll do Q&A.
Sounds great. All right, so success. Not gonna dive into it, but it is important to know that if you are in a hybrid business, meaning you have e-com and you also sell on Amazon or some other marketplace or physical location, or all of the above, you do want to monitor the metrics on all sales channel and know that if you are investing in paid ads, even though sometimes we don't see the attribution for it, it does feed one another. If you are in a more mature place, there are different solutions to measure offline and online and tie it together. So we would invite you to explore those solutions. Couple of things that on analytics and reporting, and I think we're gonna wrap up. So what most retailers / e-commerce brands look at is Google Analytics, Shopify, last click attribution, as I mentioned. And what are the things they're missing out on is the marketplace revenue that kind of lives in silo, but fed off oftentimes from the brand awareness campaigns you have, or PR efforts, or whatever that might be. Retail revenue, again, lives in silo, but definitely feeds off of anything and everything you do online. And then store visit tracking. So tying all of these together is really the right way to go about it. Looking at you through attribution and also understanding the relationship between your online investment and how it pays off offline and vice versa. How can you use your online investment to drive your offline revenue? All of that is definitely available in the marketplace. And we would like to thank you all for listening. It was really a great pleasure to us to go over this data, spitting out a lot of information. Let's open this QA for questions.
Yeah, wow, Yael and Kelsey, thank you, first of all, for that very informative presentation. Attendees, if you have burning questions, now's the time to send them in. Hit that Q&A or the chat. I'm watching both, waiting for them to light up. Of course, you can hit that Q&A button. Let's go ahead and get started with some questions that came in. So what does over-targeting mean to you?
All right, over-targeting means that you are going after someone too heavy and you're wasting your money. Oftentimes in our campaign over at the paid side of things, we see high frequency and you are penalized for over-targeting. CPMs, especially in Meta or others, TikTok, other social platforms, will penalize you for doing that. And then another thing with over targeting is over retargeting. So people hitting their retargeting list too many times, wasting money on it and not letting their organic channel harvest what will probably come through as something you shouldn't be paying for in a get-go.
Yeah, another way I kind of think of it too is you've got a budget that's pennies and then you've got a lot going on up top, right? And so you're taking $1 and splitting it like 2,000 ways. So I think the combination between what Yael said and making sure that your strategies align with your budget is also a way that you can avoid that.
Nice. We'll squeeze one more in because time flies when you're having fun. Monica says, please comment on how to do product marketing fit in e-commerce when sourcing products from Mexico.
Well, I'm not sure I understand the question. So if it is something that someone does drop shipping to, everything we spoke about will just fit fine in that strategy. If we are thinking about having folks in the US buy products that are shipped from Mexico, just being upfront about shipping. So have that little toggle that says instead of 1-2 days, 1 to 2 weeks, and mention it also in your sell. Tell them that you are maybe a craft maker in Mexico and it's going to take some time to get that product. Just be upfront about it. It will also save you some budget, some money on your paid ads, because people won't click through the ad if they know that, no, I need it tomorrow. That will be my answer to Monica.
Yeah, it hasn't stopped me from purchasing if it's going to take 1 to 2 weeks, as long as it fits. But the transparency makes me feel good, right? It makes me think it's not lost somewhere. And so my experience with your brand will be better if you're upfront about it, without a doubt.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Yella and Kelsey, for an amazing presentation. And thanks again to Ad Taxi for sponsoring today's Marketing Profs presentation. As a quick FYI, when you exit Zoom, there will be a window that pops up with a very short 30-second survey. We'd love to hear what your thoughts of today's session. Again, thanks for joining today. Remember to be a happy, helpful, humble B2B marketing human, and we'll see you again real soon at the next Marketing Profs event. Great job, ladies.